Deal. As the words of the deal fell, everyone in the hall felt dizzy. What kind of auction did they go through? The original price was 10,000, and it soared 35 times directly. It became 350,000. Don't be so crazy. And 350,000 top-grade spirit stones. How long will it take to save them? One after another shocked eyes looked at the number 2 box, gasped for air, and secretly speculated that there must be an extremely terrifying big man sitting there, so terrifying that even the number 1 box avoided it. Soon, the old man in box 2 took out 350,000 top-grade spirit stones, exuding extremely rich spiritual energy, and sent them to the owner of the auction hall by the waiter. And the storage bags of Xiang Wei and Wang Xianlong were also sent to the old man in box 2. When his fingertips touched the storage bag, the old man was both happy and excited, glad that he was strong, and threatened with force, otherwise he could get these 2 strong inheritances? Thrilled. Rejoice. The more I touched it, the more excited I became, my hands and feet trembled. But I didn't open it to see it, put it on my body, and instantly escaped the auction hall, and then broke through the air and left the dungeon. He knows that there are many strong people in the black market, and his favorite thing to do is to join forces to intercept and kill. This time, he filmed the inheritance of the strong, and the news must spread soon, and it is inevitable to encounter interception at that time. One interceptor is fine, if there are more, it is inevitable that he will not be able to do it. Go first. Save the night and dream more. Soon. He returned to Mongtong Mountain and hid in a secret place. That's just when you start looking at the storage bags. Black market. Dungeons. Squeak. The door of box number 1 was pushed open, and the owner walked in respectfully. Having removed the cloak on his head, revealing a resolute and smiling face, and respectfully said, "Senior, live up to the trust." Although Suchanga was excited, his face was also calm, and said, "Take it." A box was handed over, and when I opened it, I saw that it was full of white flowers and flowers, a total of 450,000. When she saw so many spirit stones with her own eyes, the beautiful woman's whole body froze in place, trembling with excitement, and secretly said, "Shoo." Thanks to himself, otherwise how could this silly boy earn so many spirit stones? Read more novels for free on our website, tinyurl.com/2aa54z8b. She looked at the huge amount of spirit stone with white flowers and was satisfied. A full 450,000 top-grade spirit stones, even if she did nothing and squandered hard, it was enough to squander half her life. Thinking of this, her eyes were also secretly staring at Suchanga, and she sneered in her heart, "I must have gained trust now." The owner of the auction hall smiled and said to Suchanga, "Senior, because you traded such a large amount, you enjoy a 9-fold discount, just reduced. The previous demon wolf and bracelet money, the money is not much, seniors don't have to worry about it." Suchanga nodded. The owner of the auction hall took out another card and handed it over, and said with a fawning face, "Senior, this is the highest level membership card. In the lower auction hall, you hold this card, you are the biggest customer of this store, and I hope to make friends with you." Suchanga took the card, looked down, and saw that the card was very thin, but very heavy, pure gold throughout, as if it was made of real gold, shining brightly, brilliant. "Okay, I've made up my mind for this friend of yours," Suchanga said lightly. He actually wants to make friends with this owner, after all, who else can sell 2 bags of garbage at such a high price? If you have no money in the future, you will come to him to earn money, not happy? But before he could speak, he took the initiative to come over and make friends, right in the middle. Hearing that the other party promised to make friends with him, the owner of the auction hall was overjoyed and his face was full of red light. Senior, under the nickname Black Dragon, please come more in the future. People in the black market do not use their real names, they all use nicknames, and the owner also knows that the cloaked figure in front of him will naturally not expose his real name, so he reports his home, hoping that the other party can remember him. Okay, since it's a friend, then I'll give you a meeting gift first. This demon wolf belongs to you, take it. Suchanga waved his big hand and directly sent the silver-backed flame wolf out. Whoosh! The silver-backed flame wolf let out a roar, and knowing that he was sent out, he obediently picked up his tail and returned to the auction owner. The owner of the auction hall was stunned. It is worthy of being a senior, this is just acquainted, but just a word, just come up and give yourself a meeting gift. This is an incomparable posture. Worth making friends. Thank you, senior, the black dragon is grateful. Here, the beautiful woman raised her eyebrows. What a fool, you just met him, you directly sent him a golden body demon. Beast, what a big fool. She cursed in her heart, and she couldn't fight in anger. Where in this world is there true love? The owner of this auction hall is just afraid that you killed the people of the Tai Xian Dao sect, so he curries favor with you. If you hadn't killed someone from the Tai Xian Dao sect, he wouldn't even have a bird for you. But you are good, directly sent him such a terrifying monster beast? Damn, fool. At this moment, in Suchanga's mind, the system's subsidy arrived. Ding. Ding. You sent a silverback flame wolf, tens of billions of subsidies took effect, triggering an excess critical attack. This excess critical attack multiplier, 368,000 times. Congratulations to the host for obtaining Sun-Eating Tengu. Tengu? Suchanga's heart moved, and he immediately checked the system space. I saw that in that gray space, a behemoth was entrenched in the void, as tall as 100 floors, with a pair of wings on its back, surrounded by red and purple cyan lines, and her eyes were docile, but she also showed blood. Devouring, killing intent. This is a snow-white Tengu, extremely noble, exuding a terrifying aura. Amazing fluctuations, and the entire sky of oppression is trembling. Suchanga glanced at it and was overjoyed. Tengu, it turned out to be Tengu. He had heard of the Tengu food moon countless times, and he thought it should be this terrifying Tengu. No, this dog should be far more terrifying than the moon-eating Tengu, this is the sun-eating Tengu. Eat and eat mean the same thing, but they are very different. Devouring is devouring, crushing devouring. Food, on the other hand, is to chew slowly like eating. It seems that this dog is fierce, I am afraid that even the sun in the sky can be swallowed. You guys go out first. He waved his hand to the side. Yes, senior. The owner of the auction hall walked out. The beautiful woman glanced at the box full of spirit stones, her eyes showed a hint of greed, and then followed Suchanga's orders and walked out reluctantly. After they left, Suchanga entered the system space, looked at the dog from afar, and laughed, awesome. The next second, the system sound suddenly sounded. System tip, sun-devouring Tengu, one of the ancient demon gods, contains the bloodline of the flood desolate fierce beast, the power can move mountains, cross the river and stir the sea, and when it grows to a complete body, it can swallow the entire sun in one bite. Vaz. Suchanga's eyelids jumped. It's really what to think about, one bite can swallow the sun, this. Hang up. The sky. But in addition to being excited, he also noticed a detail of the system. Entry. When it grows to a complete body, it can swallow the entire sun in one gulp. So it is not a complete body yet? Suchanga was frightened by his own speculation, such a terrifying Tengu, it was not completely physical? He tried to sense the breath on the sun-devouring Tengu. Hotian realm. Blurred out. This dog is actually just a heavy cultivation of the acquired realm. However, the breath inadvertently revealed on the body is terrifying, faintly. Able to fight the heavens and the earth, swallowing mountains and rivers. Then if you cultivate it yourself and give it all kinds of elixirs, wouldn't it be able to cultivate it to a complete body very quickly? Suchanga's brain was racing fast, and soon, a cultivation plan took shape in his mind. It was at this moment that he suddenly discovered that this Tengu seemed to be mothers? Whoosh! The sun-eating Tengu also saw him and let out a roar. His eyes became extremely docile, and the breath on his body also converged a lot. Suddenly, Suchanga's eyes widened, and there was a touch of disbelief in his pupils. I saw that the Tengu turned into a young woman, with a beautiful posture. Wearing a colored veil, walking step by step, walking in front of him, the clothes gradually changed, from colored yarn to red, and the appearance also began to transform, becoming heavenly and colorful, becoming radiant, step by step, like crossing eternity, crossing immortality, recovering from ancient times, stepping through the chains of time and space, and came to him. Master. She called softly as she walked. Suchanga was slightly startled, but quickly came back to his senses, and said, "Can you transform into a human form?" "Yes, master." Suchanga's eyes lit up, and I saw that she had a snow-white complexion, a tall figure, and a graceful appearance, like a peerless beauty, and she was like a beautiful landscape when walking. Just in the part behind him, there is a furry tail cocking. Master, soon. The sun-devouring Tengu came to him, and Suchanga only felt a fragrance from a woman's body, accompanied by a crispy sound, which made people feel like they were in a spring peach forest, and they wanted to shout comfortably. In the future, you will be called Xiaoyu. Suchanga gave her a name, so that she could shout in the future. Yes, thank you for the name. The sun-eating Tengu grabbed his hand, put it in his palm, kissed it, and then said softly, "The master's palm is so fragrant. It's a smell." After all, Xiaoyu is a Tengu. The first time you see the owner, you must smell the smell on the owner, and then remember. Suchanga naturally understood this, and immediately his heart moved, and a large handful of essence washing Saint Pill appeared in his hand, saying, "Your cultivation is low, you take this essence washing Saint Pill to wash off all the impurities on your body." Read more novels for free on our website, tinyurl.com/2aa54z8b. The last thing he lacks is this: first wash the little eater, wash it thoroughly, and then cultivate it, right? This is also the first step in cultivation. Thank you, master. Xiaoyu took the essence cleansing Saint Pill, there were 19 of them, and she opened her rosy lips and took them. Suchanga knew that a terrifying demon beast like this ancient period must have a much stronger physique than herself, and she only needed 2 to wash her pulp, and she definitely needed more to wash her pith. But it doesn't matter, there is no shortage of this thing anyway. Boom! At the entrance of the elixir, a terrifying aura suddenly erupted in the small Fagog's body, and the surrounding wind and clouds changed instantly. The wind rose flat, the void stirred, the tornado rained, and the surging vitality of heaven and earth surged in. Suddenly, Xiao Yu's spine became straight, and the golden vertebrae could be faintly seen through his clothes, like a dragon holding up blood, bones, and skin, all transformed into a faint gold. Under the strong heaven-level medicinal power, the fragile barrier in her body was instantly broken, and her cultivation skyrocketed. Boom! Breakthrough. The second heaven of the heavenly realm. The 3 heavens of the heavenly realm. The 5 heavens of the heavenly realm. The 7th heaven of the heavenly realm. 9 heavens of the heaven realm. 19 essence cleansing saint pills only allowed her to break through to the 9 layers of the day after tomorrow. Suchonga's eyes were slightly surprised, but she quickly understood. Ancient demon beasts, the resources required to break through must be much higher than their own, and it is normal to break through only this level. On the other hand, this is a good thing. The more difficult it is to break through, after that breakthrough, the strength will far surpass others, crushing. Master, I feel the power erupting in my body, like a landslide tsunami. Xiao Yujiao hummed, her nose still rubbing on Suchonga's body, as if she was smelling the smell. You precipitate for a while. Suchonga exited the system space and prepared to leave the auction hall. He packed all the 450,000 spirit stones into the storage bag, then opened the door and walked out. The beautiful woman was waiting at the door, and when she saw him finally come out, greed suddenly appeared in her eyes, but it was quickly covered up by her. Suchonga pretended not to see it, and said lightly, "Let's go, leave the black market." At the same time, Montong Mountain. A hidden place. Fuck. Find death. With an explosive roar, a terrifying coercive pressure swept out, like a glorious sun, sweeping around. The old man in box 2 was almost not angry. He spent a lot of money and threatened box 1, and finally photographed these 2 storage bags. As a result, open it and take a look. Heaven kill. His lungs were about to explode, and he spent so much money that he only got some garbage as a result. Although those exercises are from the Tai Xian Dao sect, they are far from worth that price. These exercises, even if they are bigger, 10,000 top-grade spirit stones are on top of the sky. But he spent sky-high prices. Do the math, it's a loss of 440,000 top-grade spirit stones. The old man thought about it and always felt that something was wrong. The problem is likely to be with box 1. Why did box 1 suddenly increase the price so fiercely? It must be tempting him to be deceived. I vaguely remember that 2 figures came in the middle of the auction, one of which was the voice of a young man, entered box number 1, and then these exercises are inseparable from box number 1. Boy, dare to deceive the old man, I will snatch you alive. The old man's figure moved, and his figure disappeared. The next moment, his figure appeared directly in Montong Mountain. Here is the exit from the black market. He wants to stay here and intercept Suchonga. Sting. At the entrance of the black market, there was an explosion, as if there was a formation running, and an invisible force wrapped around 2 black-robed figures returned to the ground. Boom, the void rippled, and several powerful figures emerged. You guys are really punctual, return the cloak. A powerful figure said. Expressionlessly. Suchonga took off the cloak and handed it to him, as did the beautiful woman. Immediately, the void fluctuated, and the powerful figure was about to disappear, suddenly sensing something, raised his eyebrows, and said, "There is a good show to watch." In his perception, an aura of terror was approaching. Boom. Suddenly, Birds in the sky screamed, and the ground flew sand and stones. The earth is shaking. This kind of scene, the powerful figure is not unfamiliar. As soon as many people leave the black market, they will be intercepted. Immediately. No way, who makes people rich in the black market? He's seen this a lot. Two of you, you may be gone, please be mentally prepared. A playful voice came out of the mouth of the powerful figure. He was not optimistic about Suchanga. After all, the cultivation of the golden body fivefold is completely insufficient to see in front of the people who come. As for the beautiful woman, it is not enough to see. At this time, the beautiful woman's pupils suddenly shrank, and her face was as white as paper. A white-haired old man appeared in front of her. There was no aura fluctuation on the body, but it changed color in the sky and collapsed layer by layer. Snap! The white-haired old man blasted out a palm, and the terrifying oppression suddenly erupted, impacting her body in an instant. Poof! The beautiful woman spat out a mouthful of blood and flew out upside down. Her face turned pale, she vomited blood, her chest heaved violently, she struggled to speak, and she was hanging with her last breath. Mean woman, dare to deceive the old man. The white-haired old man was furious, his fierce gaze swept over Suchanga. And he jumped violently. You too, don't think about leaving today. Boom! A tsunami-like coercion erupted from his body, sweeping through like a wind and clouds. The white-haired old man had white hair fluttering, his eyes were scarlet and blood-stained, his face was hideous, and he was extremely crazy, approaching Suchanga inch by inch, and looked down, hand over the spirit stone. Let you die a lot. After speaking, he waved his big hand. Boom! The terrifying coercion gradually increased, radiating in all directions, blocking all paths. The oppression in the air skyrocketed, like a mountain hanging overhead. At this moment, the sound of hey, hey, hey continued to be heard all around. And many figures suddenly appeared. When they appeared, they felt the coercion, and they were all shocked, and they immediately looked at this scene. A gloating expression suddenly appeared on his face. These are people who came out of the black market when the time came. At a glance, you can see what happened. Suddenly someone exclaimed, Shoo! It turned out to be the fire cloud ancestor. Oh my God, it turned out to be him, I said. Why is it so terrible? The fire cloud old ancestor is a powerhouse at the peak of the law phase realm. That boy in white is going to be planted. There was a lot of discussion, and many figures were all mocking, looking at Suchanga as if they were looking at a dead person. Read more novels for free on our website, tinyurl.com/2AA54Z8B. The ancestor of Huiyun, the ancestor of the fire cloud cave in the southern Dao domain, is both good and evil, sometimes murderous, sometimes kind and happy, and his personality is moody. The people who are targeted by him never end well. They were either crushed into a blood mist or tortured to death. Click. The coercive pressure continued to increase, and the ground collapsed with a bang, collapsing downwards. The white-haired old man walked by like a god of death, approaching Suchanga step by step, and came to him in a blink of an eye, and said hatefully, Why? Didn't you hear the old man speak? Suchanga's face did not change color, and said lightly, I just didn't hear it. How, do you have an opinion? Shoo! Many people gasped for air. Obediently, this is the fire cloud old ancestor. I don't know how many people he has killed in his life, and even a lot of demonic Tao is planted in his hands. But what did this boy in white say, didn't you hear? Do you also ask if people have any opinions? Where does self-confidence come from? The white-haired old man laughed angrily, and said coldly, I didn't hear it. Forget it, it's useless to talk more, go and die. He slammed out with both palms, and the aura of the sun and moon erupted, slamming forward like lightning. Everyone around was far away, and they still felt the wind rushing in front of them, like rolling thunder and roaring, and the sound of terrifying waves. The true chi was stirring, and the impact of the clothes was drumming, and they all retreated backwards. The beautiful woman who fell to the ground showed despair on her face. This palm, several feet away from her, but still straight, rolled her brain. Concussion, strong true chi rushed her out again, smashing heavily on the ground. She was desperate. Even if that kid surnamed Sue is strong, he is no match in front of the fire cloud old ancestor. The fire cloud old ancestor has practiced for most of his life, and his hair is gray. What about him? The hairy boy is not comparable at all. In a trance, she suddenly heard Suchanga speak. Fire cloud old ancestor, right? I'm sorry, you can't even beat the dog under my feet. As soon as these words came out, there was an uproar all around. Everyone was stunned and looked at Suchanga blankly. Then, they all sneered, feeling that they had heard the joke. The powerful figure under the black market creator laughed even more. Alas, this kid has a kind, but it's a pity, the bull blows too much, it's easy. Before his words were finished, he suddenly heard Suchanga say lightly. Xiao Yu. Yes, master. Boom. Suddenly, a huge figure appeared in the void, snow-white throughout, filled with a noble aura, and seemed to contain an extremely pure noble bloodline, with extreme coercion overflowing, dimming the heavenly dome. Everyone looked up and was horrified. I saw that on the dim sky dome, a burst of lightning streaked, filled with dazzling coercion, the snow-white body seemed to cross the eternal period, and a huge behemoth was entrenched there, and the pupils showed bloody killing intent, overlooking the white-haired old man. Xiao Yu did not turn into a human form, she would only give her master a person to watch her human form. Roar. Xiao Yu let out a roar. Powerful fluctuations erupted, earth-shattering ferocious beasts erupted, and destructive forces swept out and crushed downward. Poof. The white-haired old man suddenly felt that an invisible mountain crushed down, smashed the head, and the bones and joints suddenly made a clicking explosion, and the head shifted violently, and it shrunk down abruptly, and was compressed into the chest cavity under strong pressure. Shoo! My mother! Countless people trembled. What kind of power was this? Just a roar. It was like a big hand to shoot down, directly hitting the head of the fire cloud old ancestor into the chest. Boom! Xiao Yu slapped out a palm, swept up with terrifying fluctuations, and his big hand was like an ancient sacred mountain, covering the white-haired old man. Nope. No. I was wrong, I didn't want that money anymore, The white-haired old man let out a hysterical scream. Powerless pleas for mercy. Boom. Under one palm, the white-haired old man was wiped out, his spirit was destroyed, and even the corpse was not left. The earth was also implicated, and a large handprint was taken abruptly, and the surrounding land collapsed downward. Without much effort, it instantly extinguished the fire cloud ancestor. Everyone was stunned. Stunned in place, his face all showed an expression as if he saw the sky falling, the ground sinking, and the end of the world coming. Unbelievable. Is this true? That fire cloud old ancestor, a face was photographed? Oh my God. Don't you want to be so scary? What kind of monster is this? Why have I never seen it? I don't know, but looking at the aura that erupted from the body, there must be a high concentration of terrifying blood. As a golden body realm powerhouse, I was actually breathless under the coercion of that bloodline explosion. Hiss. It's terrifying. Shoo. Many people were shocked for a long time and finally regained their composure. The powerful figure of the black market creator's subordinates was even more frightened. His scalp was numb. Oh my God, he didn't finish his words just now, he was slapped in the face. Frightened, his face turned pale, and he quickly covered his mouth. Sling the bull. Just now it was all nonsense. I hope people haven't heard. He kept comforting himself in his heart. On the ground on the side, the beautiful woman was shocked, her eyes widened. And she was dumbfounded. My God, what did she see? A demon beast that almost covered the sky suddenly appeared, and with a roar, the head of the fire cloud old ancestor moved directly. Then another palm slapped down, and the whole person of the fire cloud old ancestor directly evaporated in the world. Even the terrain has been changed abruptly. Shoo. Hiss. Hiss. She inhaled the cold air wildly, and it was difficult to hide the shock in her heart. Can't believe all this is true. After coming back to her senses, she finally understood why Suchanga gave that silver-backed flame wolf to the owner of the auction house. That's not generous. Rather, it is not needed at all. There are such terrifying monster beasts around him. What else do you want the flame wolf to do? Waste food? After killing the fire cloud old ancestor, Xiaoyu jumped down from the void and came to Suchanga's side, his nose constantly rubbing on his hand. Extremely intimate. Master, that person just now was too weak to help the wind. I just made a sound. His head was compressed into the chest cavity. So funny. Suchanga actually thought it was quite funny, but he also understood that it was because of the suppression of the bloodline. Although Xiaoyu's cultivation is only in the Hotian realm, he has the bloodline blessing of the flood desolate fierce beast, and the power that bursts out is extremely terrifying, far from being comparable to the fire cloud old ancestor. Xiaoyu, you go back first. As soon as his mind moved, Xiaoyu was put back into the system space. Immediately, Suchanga jumped into the collapsed ground. As soon as he jumped in, he suddenly felt as if he was in a big handprint shot out by the palm of the god, and the ground collapsed downwards, like a moat. The power control of the little eater was perfect, although he killed the white-haired old man, but did not destroy the treasure on his body, and something exploded in the moat, shining gold. Suchanga stepped forward and picked them up one by one. There are a total of 2 storage rings, for lower-grade spirit soldiers, a rusty piece of iron that I don't know what to use, as well as some elixirs. And a few other scattered spirit stones. Don't look at the scattered spirit stones, there are also 17,000, all of which are top-grade spirit stones, containing pure spiritual energy. And the reason why it is scattered is that compared with the money on Changa's body now, it is completely inadequate. If it was placed in the past, it would not be scattered, but a huge amount. After picking it up for a while, making sure that there was no omission, Changa jumped out of the moat and returned to the ground. After coming out, he glared at the powerful figures fiercely. The powerful figure suddenly snorted, and one of the burly figures, with the appearance of a leader, hurriedly walked out and handed over his hand. Gongzi. Just now we didn't recognize Mount Tai. This is a small compensation, please. Accept this thing regardless of previous suspicions. This powerful figure tried to lose a smiley face. He was scared to death. When Suchanga came out of the dungeon just now, what did he say? Suchanga is gone? Do you want people to be mentally prepared? Read more novels for free on our website, tinyurl.com/2aa54z8b. But now? Suchanga not only did not disappear, but the fire-cloud old ancestor was gone. He felt hot on his face, as if someone had smacked a big mouth. His heart was also trembling, hoping that the other party would not calculate with him. This is... Suchanga took the thing he handed over, and his eyes immediately lit up. It is a brand made of pure gold, the size of a human head, like a shield, with various wonderful patterns engraved on it. It looks like a treasure, but I don't know how to use it. Gongzi doesn't know something. This is an amnesty token. It is a specialty of the black market, and you can exchange it for a high-level treasure map. From the black market creator. The powerful figure leader explained. Suchanga was shocked. It turns out that this is the amnesty token. A few years ago, I heard the beautiful master say that the amnesty token is extremely valuable, and the high-level treasure map exchanged can dig up extremely rare items. The beautiful master once dug up and obtained an alien beast yuan. That's what the demon beast uses. Once it is absorbed by the demon beast, the demon beast can get an earth-shaking transformation. The bloodline evolves and becomes stronger. Okay, see me in the future, bend down and call Big Brother, and I'll treat today's matter as it passes. Suchanga glanced at the powerful figure leader and said coldly, yes. In the future, whenever we see you, a few of us will immediately call us Big Brother. Several powerful figures said in unison. While speaking, I also breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately. Suchanga nodded, immediately glanced at the people next to him who were gloating just now, and said coldly, I don't want to get my hands dirty. Got it. Eldest brother. Several powerful figures shot out in an instant, and their iron fists broke through the air, and the swords and shadows were all over the place. There were instant screams in the field. In just the blink of an eye, those who came out of the black market just now to gloat were all killed and turned into cold corpses. Good, I'm satisfied. Suchanga nodded. I have to say that it feels good to collect a few little brothers. Immediately, he groped around those people for a while. Surprisingly, nothing was found, but many spirit stones were found. A total of more than 30,000 top-grade spirit stones. Suchanga thought for a while, feeling that these people should have entered the black market, sold everything on their bodies, and exchanged them all for money. Immediately, he planned to return to the sect. The things are also sold, the money is also obtained, and then it is time to find a beautiful master to brush tens of billions of subsidies. He turned and prepared to leave. But at this moment, he suddenly had an epiphany, remembering that there was one last thing he had not done. That is, kill beautiful women. At this time, the beautiful woman suddenly struggled to get up and asked, Little brother, where are you going? Suchanga raised his eyebrows. This woman is simply immortal, and her vitality is really tenacious. The white-haired old man's palm didn't slap her to death? He immediately waved his hand and said coldly, prepare to return to the sect. That, the beautiful woman spat out a mouthful of blood and cried sadly, Can I go with you? Huh? Suchanga's eyes froze. This woman actually wants to go back with herself? Why? Because, the beautiful woman's eyes dodged, because my husband was killed. I have nowhere to go, please take me in, is it okay? Her plan hasn't been implemented yet, but she doesn't want to let this fat sheep go. She must get the dragon slayer knife. And when Xiao Eater appeared just now, she saw Xiao Eater, her fierce eyes were glowing, and she wanted to get Xiao Eater even more. As she spoke, the beautiful woman was also looking at the corpses around her. And even more at the moat where the fire cloud old ancestor fell. Although she was afraid, she strengthened her determination. Get the dragon-slaying knife, then use the dragon-slaying knife to subdue that demon beast and collect it for your own use. At that time, she will be gorgeous and transformed, sparrow into a phoenix. Who else dares to cross in front of her? Rare opportunity, fight. Poof. Su Chang'e laughed fiercely. Sell miserable? Okay, I'll make you really miserable. He said quietly, okay, then you can follow. Su Chang'e didn't want to take her back to the sect, but to find a place to kill her. You are seriously injured, you take this pill. He took out another ghost blue spirit pill and handed it over. This one is extremely strong, according to his calculations, it is enough to make the speed of the beautiful woman turn into blood and water dozens of times faster. It originally took a month, but it only took 3 hours to eat this one. Originally, Su Chang'e was going to save this one for later use, but now he can't wait to see this beautiful woman die. What a fool. A fool-like expression flashed in the beautiful woman's eyes for a moment, and then she took the pill and swallowed it in one gulp. After a while, the internal injury was more than half better. But she felt that there seemed to be something different in her body, and the position of her heart suddenly produced an indescribable pain. She didn't care either. This kid surnamed Su has developed limbs and a simple mind. Does he have his own heart and eyes? Immediately, the two began to return in the direction of the Taishan Dao sect. Along the way, she kept saying some flattering words, and Su Chang'e just smiled. Not true. Time passed slowly, and in the blink of an eye, an hour passed, and it was dusk. Sunset West Mountain, a touch of residual sun in the sky, there is a feeling of desolation. After another half an hour, the fierce wind gradually rose, the moon was dark. And the wind was high, and the whole world became dark, and 5 fingers could not be seen. Boom! Boom! Suddenly, a bolt of lightning streaked through the void, and in an instant, lightning and thunder. This was followed by a downpour. Read more novels for free on our website, tinyurl.com/2AA54Z8B. Rain the size of soybeans fell in the air and smashed on the ground with a crackling sound. The beautiful woman was overjoyed and suggested, "Little brother, the rain is too strong, and it's dark, we might as well find a place to spend the night." She sensed her chance. The moon is dark and the wind is high on the night of killing. That plan can finally be implemented. Her self-confidence mainly comes from experience. She once saw many strong people dominating in the classics, and the hero was hegemonic. But in the end, it was all planted on women. The reason is simple. First, those strong people rarely embarrass women. Second, they are also not defensive against women. After all, what attack power do women have? It was precisely because of carelessness that they did not die in the hands of stronger and stronger people, but in the hands of weak women. Right now, the dark night covered the greedy murderous intent in the beautiful woman's eyes, and her heart was pounding and excited. The treasure was at her fingertips, how could this not make her excited? But after saying these words, she suddenly felt that the pain in the heart position increased several times. This made her face pale, thinking that it should be because the palm of the fire cloud old ancestor was too strong, and the pill just now was not completely repaired. Okay, then do as you say. Su Chang'e sneered and directly agreed to her. Calculate the time, there are still the last half hours left in the effect of the medicine. Well, there's a broken temple in the distance, let's go there. The beautiful woman pointed not far away. Suchanga looked around, and saw that the broken temple wall collapsed, leaving only the main hall, weak in the storm. Go. Soon, the two entered the broken temple. The broken temple is very broken, and the portals and windows are full of cobwebs. This is a Buddhist temple. I don't know when it was built, because no one has cleaned it for many years. The main hall is full of floating ash, and the smell of old ash is extremely choking. Suchanga waved his big hand, and a hurricane swept out, quickly sorting out a clean place. He took a blanket from his storage bag and sat down. In the darkness, the beautiful woman's black eyes showed extreme greed and madness. She closed the door of the hall, and then walked over, hating in her heart. Boy, after entering this broken temple, you won't get out alive. Boom. Boom. Outside the heavy rain poured, thunder and lightning roared, deafening, like bombardment in people's hearts, making people's hearts palpitate. Time passed slowly, and in the blink of an eye, another hour passed. At this time, there was only half an hour left before the medicinal effect of the ghost spirit pill exploded. And at this time, the beautiful woman also suddenly felt a sharp pain in the position of the heart, as if it was being burned by a fire, and it hurt her heart. Damn fire cloud ancestor. She cursed angrily, endured the sharp pain, and took out a packet of medicinal powder from her body. The medicinal powder is pitch black as ink, and you can tell at a glance that it is poison, but it emits a sweet fragrance, which makes people feel refreshed. The beautiful woman took out a cup from her body, poured the medicinal powder into it, and then went outside to get some water, stirred it, and let the medicinal powder spread evenly. This medicinal powder can put people down within 3 breaths, making people weak and sleepy fall asleep in less than a quarter of an hour. When she falls asleep, she can kill it with a dark arrow. This is the evil plan. Then, she returned to the main hall, approached Suchanga, and said softly, "Little brother, do you want to drink water?" With that, she took a sip of it herself. "I can't bear the child can't stop the wolf. And under the tip of her tongue, there is an antidote. So she is not afraid." After drinking, she said softly, "Little brother, don't dislike your sister?" "No disgust." Suchanga smiled faintly, took the cup, and after a burst of coercion in his body, he burned the water in the cup dry, and then pretended to drink it. In the dark, his mouth did not touch the cup, and the beautiful woman could not see it. And he also knew that this woman invited him to drink water for no reason. It must be fine. When you go out, you must be defensive. Especially women, the most poisonous women's hearts, must be guarded against. And there is only half an hour left, he just needs to wait. Little brother, sleep. Seeing that he had finished drinking the water, the beautiful woman whispered. Suchanga pretended to obey her, slowly lay down, and waited for the time to come. After a while, a snoring sound came from his nose. At first it was only a slight snoring, but soon it was thunderous. This is what he pretended. He wanted to see what kind of tricks this beautiful woman was playing. Asleep? The beautiful woman was not a fool, touched his nose, and when he was sure to fall asleep, he grinned fiercely. Ha ha ha, the old lady endured all the way and finally found an opportunity. That sword, as well as that powerful demon beast, and that huge amount of spirit stones, are all mine. Ha ha ha. She laughed excitedly, and immediately took out the dark arrow from her body. Read more novels for free on our website, tinyurl.com/2aa54z8b. A 1-meter-long dark arrow burst out with a dazzling cold light, as if the wolf in the dark night showed its fangs and was about to kill. Ugh! Between the electric light and flint, the beautiful woman used all her strength. The arrow aimed at Suchonga's heart and stabbed down fiercely. So that's her means? Too naive. Suchonga's eyes were bright, and he laughed secretly, ready to wake up. But at this moment, the mutation suddenly broke out. The storage bag suddenly seemed to sense something, and the light burst out. And flew out a ray of light. It turned out to be a jade bracelet. You look for death. There was an angry shout from inside the jade bracelet, extremely old, and there was a terrifying coercive eruption, like a tsunami rolling, terrifying. The beautiful woman was shocked. Suchonga was overjoyed, and laughed in his heart, Grandpa is online. Ha ha ha, I guessed correctly, this bracelet really has a secret. The next moment, from inside the bracelet, a gray-robed figure appeared in front of the beautiful woman. This is an old man, his beard and hair are gray, just an afterimage, but the breath on his body is thick, like a vast and boundless river of stars. I see that this sub-body is transparent, without any impurities, and it is a good piece of material. If you grow up in the future, you will be able to become an immortal and strong person. At that time, if I take the house, my cultivation will increase greatly. If you kill him, how will I take it? You can't find death. The beautiful woman's face suddenly turned pale, and she fell to the ground. She knew what old monster she had encountered, and said in a trembling voice. You. It turns out that you also set your eyes on him, the little woman. Doesn't know, the little woman deserves death, and please raise your noble hand. Suchonga's eyes froze, and he suddenly realized. Damn, my own experience is really a little different. I thought that this grandfather was here to help himself, just like what was written in other novels. But who knows, it turns out that this product wants to wait for him to grow up, directly pick up the ready-made, and take it. Foggy grass, old silver coin. At this moment, Suchonga really wanted to scold out, what kind of world is this wearing? Can't you let yourself wear it into the brainless text? Why are villains so brainy? I have lived for endless years, and naturally I know what happened to the virgin. But I won't kill you, I will use you to gain this kid's trust. Originally, I still struggled to gain his trust. Your appearance just helped me a lot. Stupid woman, thank you for helping me. I want to thank your 8 generations of ancestors. The gray-robed remnant soul cursed, and immediately waved his hand, and a surging coercion suddenly held up Suchonga. He stepped forward, pointed at Suchonga's forehead, and a force of awakening penetrated it. Then he lowered his voice and shouted kindly, young man, wake up quickly. Suchonga slowly opened his eyes. It's as if you've really woken up, slowly waking up. He looked around, pretending to be puzzled, and said, who are you and what happened? The gray-robed afterimage smiled kindly, and said seriously, young man, you don't know something, just now this femme fatale woman wanted to harm you. Fortunately I found it in time, otherwise, seeing the matter revealed, the beautiful woman's face became more and more pale. Like the loss of blood bit by bit, her face was bloodless, and she looked like a female ghost. After a few breaths, Suchonga pretended to understand, immediately looked at the beautiful woman, directly mentioned her name, and said coldly, Cuckoo. Your husband was killed by ghost-faced demon Shio, you were defiled, I arrived in time and saved you, right? Yes. You're right. The beautiful woman said ashamedly. When you left the Black Pine Forest, you were seriously injured, and I took out the healing medicine and gave it to you to help you heal, right? Yes. Right. The beautiful woman's eyes dodged. In Dunhuang City, those people cut their tongues, but you didn't cut it, and I didn't embarrass you, right? The beautiful woman lowered her head and said nothing. Su Chang'e continued, just now out of the black market, you were seriously injured by the fire cloud old ancestor, and it was I who took out the elixir to save you, right? The beautiful woman's eyes were evasive, and her face was ashamed like earth. Su Chang'e's eyes became cold, staring at the dark arrow glowing with cold light in her hand, and asked in a deep voice, I saved you so many times. That's how you repaid me? The beautiful woman's scalp was numb, and she knew that she was in trouble today. So she plopped down on her knees and cried bitterly, little brother. No. Gongzi, it's my sister who is wrong, my sister is a ghost fan, it's a ghost. Don't go to your heart, my sister is really lost in the treasure, please don't be angry with me. Su Chang'e slapped her in the face. Ugh. The beautiful woman let out a pig-killing scream and a bloody slap. Print was drawn out of her face and flew out upside down. It was raining heavily, lightning and thunder, and the ground was already covered with mud. The beautiful woman smashed the window and fell hard in the rain, wailing in pain. Su Chang'e's heart moved, and the dragon-slaying knife appeared in his hand. The heavy giant blade erupted with bloodthirsty murderous intent, and Su Chang'e held it, like death approaching the beautiful woman step by step. The beautiful woman was so frightened that she couldn't care so much, she banged her head and cried, no. Don't kill me, I want to live, I really don't want to die, please little brother, I am willing to take my body to make amends, please don't kill me. Body? Su Chang'e smiled coldly. Sorry. I'm dirty when others touch it. Click. The dragon-slaying knife cut down mercilessly. Save. Help. Help. The beautiful woman shouted. Read more novels for free on our website, tinyurl.com/2aa54z8b. But this broken temple is deserted, and there is no one around. Call every day should not be, call the earth not working. The moon is dark and the wind is high, killing night. It turns out that I took him to the black market, helped him auction, helped him raise the price. In the end, it's all a bamboo basket empty, and it's a busy day. Before dying, the beautiful woman became enlightened, looked at the rapidly approaching dragon-slaying knife, and closed her eyes in despair. Click. At this moment, there was a sudden explosion in her body, and her heart was corroded and turned into blood. This? What's going on? Why would it be? The beautiful woman's face changed in an instant. Internal pain. The pain of drilling the heart. It's like tens of thousands of ants frantically biting and eating her 5 internal organs. It hurts to despair, it hurts to the heart. Piercing. No. Wrong. This is not the palm of the fire cloud old ancestor, this is. There is a problem with the medicine I take. At the last moment of her life, she seemed to understand something, and there was a different kind of light in her eyes. It turns out that. Click. As soon as these thoughts flashed through her mind, the dragon-slaying knife was already approaching, slashing heavily on her head. Her skull shattered and exploded, and red and white things mixed with broken skulls splashed and splashed in the rain. At the same time as it exploded, the medicinal effect of the ghost spirit pill completely exploded, and her stump began to disintegrate and begin to corrode, emitting a strong corrosive sound of zila zila. But in the blink of an eye, all the flesh on her body turned into blood and water, melted into the mud, and then the remaining bones were also corroded, turned into dust, and nothing was left. Walking fast, there is no slag left. She didn't even have time to hate. Ugh. Killing this person, Suchonga's heart moved, and the dragon, slaying knife, was received into the system space. He had planned not to do anything, intending to wait for her to turn into blood on her own. But after the grey-robed afterimage appeared, he changed his mind. The cuckoo was killed in order to show the grey robe afterimage. This kind of old silver coin is much more scheming than the cuckoo. But how can you be afraid? At this moment, the grey-robed afterimage spoke. Young man. Good kill, young man. Well, killed. It's painful, it's really painful. The grey-robed afterimage laughed heartily, and the big stone in his heart not only let go, but also felt happy for Suchonga. This kind of decisive character is exactly what he wants, and he likes it very much. Suchonga nodded and said quietly, Senior, may I ask if you are? Oh, I forgot to introduce it, my name is the Dark Soul Emperor, from a huge force that is unknown hundreds of millions of years ago. Dark Soul Hall. I moved mountains to catch up with the moon and split Huashan back then, but it's a pity. Alas. The Dark Soul Emperor was about to continue, but Suchonga waved his hand and interrupted, Senior, there is no need to say any more, you must have been very powerful before, and you are an insurmountable mountain in the minds of countless strong people. He doesn't know how much he has seen in his previous life. It's nothing more than that this remnant soul used to be very awesome, but then for some reason it fell, leaving only a trace of remnant soul, deposited on an object, and then happened to be found by the protagonist. It's such a coincidence. Very bloody. The Dark Soul Emperor was slightly startled in his heart, and secretly said, This kid's heart is very active, I didn't see the wrong person. A dumb melon, he naturally does not want to occupy the body. But a smart person, then the two sides will be much more convenient to communicate, and when they win the house in the future, it will also be very beneficial. Young man, everyone is a smart person. Then I spread out the words and said, This is a world where people eat people, there are countless strong women. Groups of wives and concubines, enjoy everything. The weak deserve to die, they are all bastards and stepping stones. So you have to break through quickly, and strive to become strong as soon as possible. The Dark Soul Emperor smiled happily, and coincidentally, I happen to know where treasures are buried in the host domain, and I can help you get those treasures. Let you break through quickly. How, heartbeat or not? This world is called the Kanglan realm, divided into 5 Dao domains, east, west, south, north, and middle, and the name is also very simple, East Dao domain, West Dao domain. The last province is called the Zhongzhou province. The corner of Suchonga's mouth turned up in a strange arc slightly, but it was fleeting, and then said quietly, Thank you seniors for helping, juniors are grateful. You want to raise me as soon as possible and then take it away, right? Old silver coin, the abacus is good. It's just a pity that you are in the first layer, and I am in the atmosphere. You're welcome, I was photographed by you, then it will be related to you. And I will naturally help you. The Dark Soul Emperor and Yan Yuesher, but secretly said in his heart, This kindness, you will repay it well in the future. As soon as the words fell, the Dark Soul Emperor's figure suddenly darkened, as if he couldn't maintain it, and said in a lost voice, It's bad, just now. In a hurry, I consumed too much spiritual power, and I was overdrawn. I can't stay in shape now. Suchonga's heart is like a mirror, probably because the strength of his remnant soul body has been exhausted and cannot be maintained. Young man, when you need to use me, put a spirit stone next to the bracelet. After I absorb it, you will wake up. Remember, it is a superb spirit stone. After the Dark Soul Emperor finished speaking, the figure returned to the jade bracelet and fell into a deep sleep. Suchanga patted his forehead and sneered in his heart, "Provoke me, you are not far from death." Who is he? Traverser. With a systematic hang-up. And I am familiar with the routine memories of a large number of novels in my past life. If you want to kill a remnant soul, then don't you press him to the ground and rub him fiercely? Just like now, without giving him spirit stones, he directly passed out, just like a dead person. When you have no use value, kill with a knife, Suchanga secretly said in his heart. Immediately, he re-entered the broken temple and slept until dawn. The next day, the sky cleared and there was a clear smell of earth in the air. Walking out of the broken temple, Suchanga sacrificed a sword, soared into the air, and flew towards the sect. Along the way, he is also taking stock of the harvest of this descent. Read more novels for free on our website, tinyurl.com/2AA54Z8B. Not to mention those miscellaneous and worthless, just a remnant soul of the Dark Soul Emperor is an endless treasure. The Dark Soul Emperor has lived for endless years, and there are many buried treasure locations in his mind. Needless to say, one is more terrifying than the other. Then, he began to take inventory of the spirit stones. At the beginning, he killed Xiang Wei and obtained 3,000 top-grade spirit stones. After entering the black market, he was given 10,000 top-grade spirit stones by a broad man, and obtained another 450,000 top-grade spirit stones at auction, and after coming out, he killed a wave of people and obtained more than 30,000 pieces. The total of 00, excluding the fraction, totals 480,000 top-grade spirit stones and 10,000 top-grade spirit stones. That's a huge amount of money. If an excess crit is triggered, will the subsidy come back and not directly become rich? How to solve your worries, only to get rich. Oh yes. Suchanga smiled heartily, and immediately urged the long sword with all his strength, and the long sword buzzed, like a bolt of lightning cutting through the sky, towards the sect, back. It didn't take long for him to arrive. After stepping on the ground, go straight to the small courtyard. "Master, I'm back." Looking at the small courtyard from afar, he couldn't help but shout, "Apprentice!" A happy voice came from the small courtyard, "Quick, I've been waiting for you for a long time, the door is not closed, come in directly." Squeak. Suchanga pushed the door and entered, and he saw Yiqingyao's white and beautiful face. "Master, give you a surprise." He took out the storage bag and said generously, "There are 480,000 spirit stones inside, and there are 10,000 top-grade spirit stones, take them and spend them casually. To treat women, you have to smash them with money." Well? Yiqingyao was shocked in her heart, took the storage bag and opened it, and the cherry little mouth suddenly opened wide. This, her face was full of disbelief. "You, apprentice, where did you get so many spirit stones? This too much." As a barren mountain, Luofing does not have many resources, everything is self-reliant. Because there were not so many disciples, the sect master naturally would not allocate resources here. Therefore, there are not many spirit stones in Yiqingyao's hand, only a few. Tens of thousands of top-grade spirit stones. But now? As soon as Su Chang'e made a move, he directly sent her 480,000 top-grade spirit stones, and an additional 10,000 top-grade spirit stones. This surprised and shocked her. Apprentice, I'm not dreaming, am I? It's not. Su Chang'e took her into his arms and said with a faint smile, Master, we will not be short of money in the future. Being hugged into his arms, Yi Qingyao's body trembled, and when he sensed the masculine aura, he immediately realized that this was not a dream. And he was immediately overjoyed, and said, Apprentice, you are not a person of atmospheric luck, you can obtain so many spirit stones. Su Chang'e pursed his lips and smiled. The reason why she obtained so many spirit stones was attributed to chance. But yes, everyone in the fantasy world has their own chances. Yi Qingyao's beautiful eyes looked at her with affection, and she only felt that the apprentice was good, the apprentice was fragrant, and the apprentice was a light in life. Suddenly, a touch of worry rose in her heart and asked, But apprentice, you gave me all these spirit stones, so what should you do? Me? I'm just fine. Su Chang'e smiled lightly, not at all impressed. At this moment, Yi Qingyao suddenly remembered something, and suddenly became angry, and said, By the way, apprentice, on the day you were away, Tiantai Peak sent someone. Tiantai Peak. Su Chang'e's face changed. What are they here for? Yesterday you just left, that strange old man from Tiantai Peak sent the most important genius under the seat to spread the word, coercive and coerced. That disciple's name is Hu Yuan Kong, and yesterday he said wildly, saying that he wanted to disqualify Lu Wafeng from participating in the tournament. What the? When Su Chang'e heard this, his face suddenly changed angrily, and anger rose from his heart. Why disqualify Lu Wafeng? Is Lu Wafeng not worthy? Yi Qingyao was indignant and continued, At that time, I was fiercely opposed. And absolutely could not agree, because this is the face of Lu Wafeng. But Hu Yuan Kong is good, he actually took Lu Wafeng as a disciple, and that disciple can't practice, and he is not qualified to participate in the tournament at all, to pressure me and make me angry. She didn't know that Su Chang'e had already undergone earth-shaking changes. When he is speaking now, he is also singing for Su Changsong. On what basis, if you can't practice, you can't participate? The sect master clearly said that all disciples can participate, regardless of grade. But why is it treated differently when it comes to Lu Wafeng? She vaguely guessed that this was not what the sect master meant. It was the suggestion of that strange old man from Tiantai Peak. That strange old man has always looked down on Lu Wafeng, almost looking at people in the crack of the door, and flattening people. Click. Su Chang'e clenched his fists, and his heart was thunderous and angry. On the day of the tournament, I want to make a splash and let Master Venerable see my strength. He shouted loudly in his heart. At the same time, make decisions. On the day of the competition, he wanted to sweep all the disciples of Tiantai Peak by himself, and furiously smoked the face of the old man. Yi Qingyao's face turned dark with anger, and he said angrily, What's even more infuriating is that Hu Yuan Kong has the support of a strange old man behind him, and bluntly said that Lu Wafeng is not worthy to participate. I couldn't get angry and pumped him away with one palm. If it weren't for Su Chang'e's inability to practice, she wouldn't have suffered from this. But even so, she was willing. Although the baby apprentice can't practice, he can't be humiliated by others. A fire lit up in Su Chang'e's heart. The anger grew stronger. Killing intent suddenly appeared in his eyes. Hu Yuan Kong is a genius under the old man's seat, his cultivation is strong. He has already stepped into the law phase realm, and he is a genius of the 8th heaven of the law phase realm. This cultivation is even higher than his true strength. But how can I be afraid? Dare to threaten Master Venerable and humiliate Luofeng, I will take your life. Su Chang'e hated it. Although his current strength is very different from Hu Yuankang, he has a way. The system's subsidy has not yet arrived. Once you arrive, you will definitely get rich. When the time comes, under the absorption, it will definitely be able to crush Hu Yuankang. At this moment, he suddenly remembered Hu Han. Read more novels for free on our website, tinyurl.com/2aa54z8b. Coincidentally, Hu Han happens to be Hu Yuankang's twin brother, and these two brothers are both from Tiantai Peak, and there is no good thing. Click. Su Chang'e clenched his fists and said hatefully in his heart, Hu Han, I will kill your brother first, wait for the tournament, kill you. Immediately, he looked at Yi Qingyao and said, Master Venerable, please rest assured, when the competition is held, the disciple will give you a long face. Let Tiantai Peak, no, not only Tiantai Peak, let all the peaks of the entire sect be impressed by Lihua Peak. Hearing this, Yi Qingyao smiled and shook her head slightly. The apprentice couldn't practice, but he couldn't stand this qi. Men are all good-faced, she understood, and immediately persuaded softly. Okay, apprentice, don't be angry, no matter what happens, the master will block it for you. Su Chang'e was slightly moved in his heart. I am even more determined to give the beautiful master a long face. The disciple retreated first. He said goodbye to Yi Qingyao and exited the small courtyard. Just returned to the residence, the system's subsidy arrived on time. Ding. You sent 480,000 top-grade spirit stones, 10,000 top-grade spirit stones. And tens of billions of subsidies took effect, triggering an excess critical attack. This excess critical hit multiplier, 369,000 times. Congratulations to the host for obtaining 177120000000000. Block on the Spirit Stone. 36900000000. A superb spirit stone. Groove. Su Chang'e's heart was shocked, and joy fell from the sky. On the system interface, the zero behind it was too much, and Su Chang'e was almost dazzled. Can't count how many zeros there are. The number is too big. Think about it, 480,000 top-grade spirit stones, multiplied by 10 billion? And then multiply this 10 billion by 369,000 times, and how much is it? With such a large number, the system interface can certainly be displayed. But he was dazzled at a glance and couldn't even count it. It took him half a day before he finally counted it. A total of more than 170 billion top-grade spirit stones, 360 million top-grade spirit stones. Shoo. Scary numbers. The corner of Su Chang'e's mouth twitched. Immediately overjoyed. This is called real money. If he absorbed so many spirit stones, then his cultivation would not be able to break through several great realms in a row. In this way, killing Hu Yuankang is the same as crushing a little ant. Ha ha ha, it's so cool, Hu Yuankang, you can't live today. He laughed loudly, closed the door tightly, and then stepped into the system space to absorb the spirit stone. Seeing him coming, Xiao Yu's mind turned into a human form, greeted him, and whispered, Master. She leaned over to Su Chang'e, her nose rubbing intimately on him. It's smelling. Su Chang'e smiled lightly and said, I'm going to absorb spirit stones. That huge amount of spirit stones are all piled up in the system space, and at a glance they look like a mountain of gold, shining brightly, which is dazzling. Thanks to the system space. If it were a storage bag, it wouldn't be able to hold so many spirit stones at all. Xiaoyu retreated to the side in amusement, sat down quietly, and looked at him with snowy eyes. Suchanga walked to the Lingshire mountain, put his palm up, and his mind moved, and began to absorb it quickly. Buzz. The huge amount of spiritual energy in the spirit stones was extremely rich. And they all turned into dazzling golden rays and entered his body. At this moment, Suchanga felt as if his body had become the eye of the sea. And the rich spiritual energy was endless, entering the body one after another, pouring into the limbs and hundreds of remains, surging in various meridians. He could clearly feel that the spiritual energy in his body became abundant at an extremely fast speed, and the meridians and muscles and bones swelled again. And after the aura entered the body, within a moment, it was transformed into power. The power is skyrocketing. Boom. Xiuwei also began to skyrocket. Breakthrough. Golden Body Realm 6 Heavens. Golden Body Realm 8 Heavens. Golden Body Realm 9 Heavens. Half-step phase. Boom. Law phase realm. The law phase realm is a heavy heaven. The 5 heavens of the law phase realm. Dharma realm 8 heavens. Move blood in half a step. Boom. Move the blood realm to a heavy heaven. Move the blood realm triple heaven. Move the blood realm 5 heavens. Move the 7th heaven of the blood realm. After the law phase realm, it is the blood realm. This cultivation can move all the blood in the body, concentrate the attack. Once it breaks out, the whole body power is blessed, and the endless physical gods in the body are opened, and the destructive power is extremely terrifying. Ordinary people need a terrifying amount of massive resources to break through to this realm. But Suchanga has a system, this is not a thing. Phew. Breaking through the 3 great realms in a row, Suchanga let out a long breath of turbid breath, and the essence in his eyes flashed, as if it contained endless power. If a punch was blasted out, I am afraid that the power can destroy the mountain. Read more novels for free on our website, tinyurl.com/2AA54Z8B. More than 170 billion top-grade spirit stones have absorbed a full half. And more than 300 million superb spirit stones are enough to absorb more than half. He tried to clench his fist, and the bones and joints of his body were suddenly pulled, and a crisp sound of clicking erupted, and the endless blood in his body also flowed violently, sending out the sound of thousands of troops galloping on the battlefield. The whole body is beating, and the 100 remains are boiling. Like a thunderous explosion, deafening. Shoo! Did it add so much power? He was shocked to find that with the breakthrough, his strength also skyrocketed, and a terrifying 2 million caddies of huge force could burst out with a single finger. If this punch goes down, I am afraid that it will not directly blast Hu Yuankong into slag. The master is so powerful. In the distance, Xiaoyu whispered softly, his eyes flowed with Chinese light, and his tail gently wagged behind him. Just as Suchanga was about to continue absorbing, he suddenly sensed that there was a sudden aura approaching the room from the outside world. His eyes narrowed. Who? As soon as his mind moved, the figure immediately returned to the house. The next moment. Boom. The door was kicked open and turned into a sparse one, and a grim-looking young man walked in. The young man's leopard head was ringed with eyes, and his body was extremely strong, like a humanoid giant bear. He glanced at Suchanga and said hatefully, "You killed my cousin." Suchanga raised his eyebrows and immediately understood. He recognized this person. This is Wang Shan's cousin, named Wang Ba. The strength is not known to be much higher than Wang Shan. He is Wang Shan's backer, and his cultivation is in the law phase ninefold. Wang Shan has been talking about his cousin all day, saying that his cousin is awesome. Who dares to move him? Now that Wang Ba is coming, if he is right, he should be helping Wang Shan take revenge. But Su Chang'e is also curious. How can he be caught by Wang Ba? Are you so sure I killed me? Su Chang'e's face did not change color, and said coldly, if you have wronged someone, aren't you afraid of thunder and slashing from the sky? Ha ha ha. Believe it. Wang Ba laughed. I specially checked my cousin's whereabouts, and his whereabouts were broken after coming to Luofeng. Not surprisingly, he died at Pear Blossom Peak. Okay. Su Chang'e understood. I really want to scold my mother. What kind of garbage world I wear? Why are the villains so brainy? They have learned the reasoning of Detective Keenan. Think of those brainless texts. How cool, brainless all the way. But yourself? Grass. Boy, don't think about quibbling, honestly follow me to the torture hall. Wang Ba snorted coldly, his big hand reached out sharply, and pressed Su Chang'e's shoulder. The torture hall is a place to punish disciples, and as long as disciples make mistakes or are suspicious, they will be arrested immediately. When many disciples heard the name of the torture hall, their faces changed wildly. Without him. As long as you enter the execution hall, you have to peel off your skin if you don't die. Su Chang'e naturally couldn't go. He smiled coldly and said angrily, okay, come to my Luofeng in broad daylight. You don't want to leave here today. Killing one is killing, killing two is also killing. He doesn't mind killing Wang Ba.